Buffalo. We'll start with the Sabres, and while Lindy Ruff would not give it away based off the morning skate today, Alex Lyon appears to be getting the start in net after UPL got game 1 and 2. Ruff, however, did give us word on Josh Norris. He is not available tonight after missing the morning skate. He is considered day-to-day. Noah Ostlund is going to be sliding into the lineup. And tonight, it is Sabres at Boston for Game 3, pregame at 6 for a 7 p.m. buck drop. Both are going to be right here on WGR. And speaking of the Sabres, you can join Brian Koziel and Owen Parker live this Sunday from 11 to 2 p.m. at Hamburg Tap Room for pregame coverage for Game 4 and more. It is presented by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. Also at Hamburg Tap Room today, Schopp and the Bulldog. They're going to be there from 3 to 7, so do come hang out. Staying with the NHL, we got two other games tonight. 7:30, Ottawa hosts Carolina. The Hurricanes do hold a 2-0 series lead there. And then at 10, the Kings host Colorado. LA trails in that series 2-0. Then for the Bills, it is draft day. Round 1 is tonight in Pittsburgh. The Bills, at the moment, are slated to pick 26th overall. We'll see if that does happen, and we'll have coverage throughout Round 1 with Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself over on News Radio 930 WBEN, of course, with Game 3 being over on WGR. Coverage will begin at 7, and the Raiders, who do own the first overall pick, will be on the clock at 8 p.m. And do stay tuned. We'll get more on tonight. Sal Capaccio will join the show at 5. And then some other notes in the NFL. The Ravens did pick up the fifth-year option for wide receiver Zay Flowers, and Falcons edge rusher James Pierce has agreed today to enter an intervention program allowing him to avoid trial on felony charges of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, fleeing police, resisting arrest, along with misdemeanor stalking. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Here's a puck that comes free up front. Byram with a shot, scores! Bowen Byram!
We knew that coming into the series wasn't going to be an easy series. We knew they were going to push back. Yeah, just on us to reset and, get back to our game and really get after them.
You're not going to win every game. They got the experience of playoff win. Now you experience a loss. We've been a good road team. I'm looking forward to going to Boston.
But wait, there's more.
On the play fake. Late pressure coming into the end zone. Caught and touchdown by Concepcion.
Tigers back off. Reed tries to make a play in the move. Throws it end zone. Touchdown. KC Concepcion.
Williams to pass. Got a guy. Touchdown. Denzel Boston.
Aller, sideline. Oh, it's picked. Dylan Thieneman calls game. That's a walk-off whiteout winner.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR.
Sorry to laugh. Didn't mean to disturb anybody here. That had to be Noah Eagle, right? A walk-off whiteout winner. And then someday when he retires, all his fellow broadcasters will jump on radio shows like ours. It's like, oh, he did write that. I hope I'm right about the first thing, if not both.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi, it is a big day. We are at Hamburg Tap Room, Southwestern and McKinley, for the next 4 hours, right up until almost to the minute, right up until face-off for Game 3. Bulldogs here telling stories. We went to this chiropractor's office for a show once. We went to this other place down here once. Get me to Orchard Park, which, by the way, is technically, I think, where Hamburg Tap Room is. You get me to Orchard Park, and you got to remind me of stuff because it's a long drive. It's a good 34 minutes by my calculations today.
From where you are for sure. Like a portal opened in my mind driving out here, driving past a used sporting goods store that I remember doing a show at, and I have these weird, like this is one example, where I did not remember a guess that you told me about when I brought this up, but I remember we were at this location the day Brian Campbell got traded, or the day that we were reacting to Brian Campbell having been traded. And now that you
San
mentioned
Jose.
that a guest was there with us, I remember spending most of the day leading up to 3 o'clock thinking about how to talk to Paul Gaustad about Brian Campbell being traded. And just like how, like just how to position it with him, like not to offend him about the state of the team or anything. But I remember being in that used sporting goods store talking to Paul Gaustad now that you mention it, talking about Brian Campbell.
Has the show ever sounded older than these? Who is this again?
Right.
Paul somebody?
There used to be another restaurant that had a great salad bar over here on McKinley.
Say no more.
We used to meet at when we were doing shows down at like Seneca Nation properties, down south of Angola, say. And we'd meet there and have lunch. And one of those times, I remember meeting you, and I was a little late because I had spun my car out at the very top of the 198, like where it splits to go 190 north towards you and 190 south towards the city.
Yeah.
I spun and hit the barrier right at the top of that.
That's a tough spot.
It's a scary spot to be out of control in a car. But I wasn't going very fast. Obviously, it was icy, and I was going too fast. It was minimal damage, but I was pretty shook up. It was the one and only time I showed up before a show and went, I'm going to have a beer.
That's only happened once?
It's only happened once.
I mean, I think today is probably a little bit safe to make that 2 times. Not, 100%. The NFL draft, Game 3. I have a number in mind for your answer. What percent is on the hockey game?
Somewhere between 88 and 95%.
Okay, my number was 93. So
we're good friends.
Nailed it.
We are good friends.
Okay,
yes.
I don't remember the salad bar.
I am
93. Almost all Game 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and look, I know what football is and what the Bills are, but it really is, I think, it can be informative about where your priorities, I don't want to say should be, because I'm sure there are plenty of people that are listening to us right now that have the exact opposite proportions, because they're not that into hockey, and the Bills are the bigger deal to them, and that's the bigger stage, even internationally, let alone nationally, and that's your ticket to the big time, and that's the allure, and so you're way more interested in what the Bills are going to do at, 11 o'clock or so tonight, is when I think you might estimate that pick comes in. And I'm not saying I don't care about it, but on this day, at this moment, it's way in the back seat, because it's just going to be announced at night, whatever it's going to be announced, we're going to know, and okay. And I love the draft, and every year there's hockey playoff action against the draft.
It's a little bit sad, right?
Yeah.
This is your favorite day.
Yeah.
Maybe your favorite day of the year in sports.
It's one of them, and I always think, I'll just keep track of the draft, and I'll watch a hockey game. And then that lasts until about 8 o'clock or even 7:45. By 7:45, it's just like, the draft is coming. I need to go see, who? I don't even know. It's not Chris Berman anymore. I just get the TV. I need Mike Greenberg on my TV. I need Louis Riddick. I don't know. It just feels right. And today I don't feel any of that. And I don't think I'll feel any of that at 7:45 tonight when the Sabres are hopefully handling business in the first period against Boston in Game 3. But I'm overwhelmingly Game 3 for me. How about you?
I'd say 70%. I'm doing a podcast tonight on the Bills pick, which is some part of the 30%, I guess. I think maybe you and I are different in a certain other way, which is, let me ask, find out. I'm 1 for 1 with the percentages. Would you take 2-2 through 4 games?
No.
Okay, we're the same then. I wouldn't either.
No, I
trust it.
I think they're the better team. I think they did not have a very good Game 2. And, the goalie, the 100-foot goal had a big impact on that. No, I think they're the better team, and if they get this one tonight, you will not hear me talking about house money on Sunday. Because I won't be thinking about house money. I'll be thinking about you've got an opportunity to go stranglehold here, and let's go. So that's my I think if I were an underdog, if the Sabres had squeezed in somehow and were playing Carolina or Tampa or somebody else that was up top.
Somebody good?
Somebody good, yeah. Somebody that I really believe in. I'm not like 2 games does not change my position on the Bruins, the quality of the Bruins. I don't think they're that good. They're not that deep. They've got some good players. They've managed to sting them. I mean, this Arvidsson is scoring 2 goals in game 2. That's not a guy that would have been at the tip of anyone's tongue going into this series, I don't think, outside of Bruins fans. So, yeah, I think I'm still status quo. And if I'm status quo, I think I've got the better team. I don't want to assume I have to lose one of these next 2 games just because they're in Boston. So, that's where I'm at.
I mean, I completely agree. Paul was right on this point, I thought, yesterday with us, which is like, I probably tossed him something intentionally vague just to see where he would go. The first question I asked him was about how they played, and he got into Swayman stats or something. You just sort of kind of want to tee him up. And he was like, I really don't care about home and road too much. The Sabres were an excellent road team all season. The Bruins are an excellent home team. Like, I'm right there. Like, home teams win 54% of the games. What do I do with that? I mean, they win what? Not even 11 out of 20 games in the NHL at home? So I just choose not to care. I don't want to do that too many times. I did that about goaltending. I do that about face-offs. I mean, something's going to make the difference in this series.
Yeah.
But I just don't mind that they have to go to Boston. I've been to Boston. It's lovely. I don't mind. Like, the puck's the same size. The Nets, it's Hoosiers. Everything's the same. Right. It's just like it's different noises. And I just don't really care that much. So I'm not fazed by where we're at in this. And I would also not sign up for 2-2. I mean, 3-1 is pretty bad, but not even the end.
Right.
And we'll see. We've got Lyon now in goal, and that will be a big talking point. It has been already. You were on that yesterday. You talked me into it. I never really took a turn at getting into sort of the analysis of it, but I like the long game point and sort of where you could be after tonight, win or lose, in goal. No, Luukkonen isn't on the Hellebuck or Shesterkin level where he just has to play, and you're going to die with your boots on. If you lose with that being your goalie, then you did, and nobody's going to blame you.
Right, that's unquestionably your best guy.
Nobody blames the coach
right.
if he sticks with Connor Hellebuck in a playoff series and they lose. It's happened. Like, it's never the coach's fault for bouncing around. But even with what has happened in the last 3 weeks or so, mostly this team was predicated on, this amazing run they've been on was the back and forth. It was the duo. And I think, like, that's your advantage. You can look at it in a positive way. Boston does not have this issue, if you will. They do not have this question about their goalie. They have one of the other guys who's just never going to come out no matter what. Maybe late in a game he comes out, but he goes back in the next game.
Right, yeah. If he gets they're down 5-0 after 2, they'll pull him out and rest him for game 4.
But he's not going to start.
Out. Right.
And part of the Sabres story is the 2, if not 3 goaltenders. So I don't want to be afraid of that.
Right, and the team shouldn't be. Like, that's another part of it to me that, and I don't think I ever articulated exactly this way, but you've sort of tripped a wire in talking like you're talking here. Because I did mention, like, a part of this that I can't know. I'm, saying yesterday I would pivot the Lion. I'm predicting Ruff will pivot the Lion.
Sounds like it.
I wonder how the team is going to react. Like, will it seem panicky to them? And I think that's where, and I did mention this a few times, like, this is not Ottinger. This is not Swayman. This is not an established number 1 kingpin goalie. They decided 3 weeks ago that if one guy was going to play to start the playoffs, it was going to be Luukkonen. I mean, the team should not feel like this is jarring. It's not like it hasn't been who they've been all year long. So it's another reason to me that the door opens for Ruff to make the pivot if he so chooses, because you shouldn't have to worry too much about how the majority of the guys are going to take the news. Like, wait, we're doing what now? Wait, what are you doing? Like,
no, right.
Dallas last year when DeBoer treated Ottinger the way he did, that was tough for the team because, like, Ottinger is like their guy. And, wait, what are we doing here? What? And that should not happen. I can't be sure that it wouldn't, even with just a few guys, but I think mostly it should just be, yeah, all right, this is how we do it. And that's another reason to make the change. And by far, to me, I don't feel like it has to mean you're done with Luukkonen at all. I would bet the door will open again for him to play again, maybe even in this series. We'll see how it goes. But I like putting Lyon in tonight because of what happened in Game 2, and if I wait and Luukkonen is shook, I'm not down so bad. It's still just Game 3. But then I maybe want to put Lyon in Game 4, staring at 3-1 if I don't get it. I just think that ratchets the pressure up a little bit more than I'd like. I think this feels more like a choice. Whereas Game 4, if Luukkonen is shaky, I mean, I know there's a possibility that he could play the game tonight and be great, and that would be wonderful. But I was spooked by how he played on Tuesday, and I think it's a good move to put Lyon in, and you can go right back to Luukkonen, whenever you want, probably, depending on how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think to say the same thing again, maybe, there's just not really any important reason to not be willing to do this. Not even to mention what's happened in the series already or what happened on Tuesday. Like, what you had on Tuesday was your goalie cracked some, and so, like, this is now on the table, and that's why we have it. Because if that doesn't happen, then Luukkonen plays tonight, no doubt.
Right.
But it did, and, I mean, there really should – I haven't plugged into the NHL playoffs in a long time, but I just know that the way it works now is you can, if not even want to, be willing to dabble with different goaltenders and, like, all right, well, why should I be afraid of that? Are the playoffs really different? I don't think so. I mean, maybe you get away with more and teams are more willing to take liberties physically. Mm-hmm. So there is that. But in terms of goaltending, I don't know that has to matter. How about this question? So you're the star today. You've got the whole stories about the chiropractor and Gostad and different things. Until tonight, when was the last time the Sabres played during round 1 of the draft? So I remember this day. I've already given it away. But I've been looking to see if it has happened since, and I don't believe it has.
So you remember the day, which tells me it's a Saturday. I'm guessing that when round 1 of the draft was still on Saturday afternoon.
Just while you're thinking,
yeah,
the last time the Sabres were in the playoffs, 2011, Marcel Darius was their first-round pick. The series with the Flyers was over before that draft, and that was a 7-game series.
Yeah,
I think in 11 the draft came after the first round, and it was over, so we went right to the draft. Maybe that was weird.
Yeah, they did start a little late this year. Like often, if the season ended on the 16th, I feel like the season has ended on like April 9th or even earlier, plenty of times. They had an Olympic break and all the stuff this year, so it ate into the middle of April. It's usually you're starting the playoffs by the time the season ended already, which makes room for a first-round series to get completed before the draft would come. I'm killing time because I have no idea.
I think it's 2001. I think it's Nate Clements. When the Sabres play that afternoon and beat Philadelphia 8-0 to win that first-round series. And, I remember the day being on the air on a Saturday at my old job where we had the draft and then we had the hockey game. We aired the hockey games, and then I don't know exactly like what the timetable was. I know that I was, being me, afraid to go to the arena out of fear that they would lose. And then they were up 4-0 in the first period. I'm like, I'm going. I texted Suzanne Taylor, like, I'll see you down there. I'm ready now. So, yeah, it was 4-0 after one. And that was the Bills draft with Clemens and then Travis Henry.
All right.
I mean, that's 25 years ago. In 11, it didn't happen. In 10, alternating nights, 6 and 7 and different things.
Yeah.
2001 is only 5 playoff appearances ago.
Right.
Somehow.
Right.
In 25 years, they've been to the playoffs 5 times.
Well, I definitely remember watching that game. This is the game that didn't Rip get into it with, like, Todd Fedoruk?
Sure.
Right? There was, like at the bench. Like, something happened at the bench, and Rip just started hammering Todd Fedoruk. Like, that happened. I remember watching that game, but I don't remember the draft being a part of it at all. Because I probably was very much like I am today. Which
not
is
even focused on
just
it.
not even thinking about the draft. Like, I remember Nate Clements, but I don't remember him being picked at all because I surely wasn't watching it because I was watching hockey. I would guess. So yeah, like that's funny that
for me it's the Lauren Hart game.
That long ago, I would still be there.
For me, it's the Lauren Hart game, who I watched last night.
I saw her last night.
Sing
Orange
God
Boots.
Bless America.
Orange Boots.
I mean, Lauren Hart.
Yeah.
Say no more. But walking in that hallway after the Sabres had just eliminated the Flyers 8-0, that was not a thing that, we sort of grew up expecting.
No, right.
And I'm walking in the hallway, headed to the Sabres locker room. You go past the Flyers room, and on the left, so the doors are on the right. The Flyers room is on the right. As you make that walk through the media, and maybe it's different now, but sort of doing that. On the left were Bobby Clark and Lauren Hart. And I was just focused on getting to the Sabres room. I'm not going to the Flyers room. And I looked to my left. I'm like, oh, you're Lauren Hart. And she, wasn't in the mood, really. Just sort of smiled a little bit.
Her team had just lost 8-0.
A pained smile. Yeah. But she was down there, and I kept walking. There was no further conversation. We kept walking, and I'm just, whispering to somebody else in the media, that was Lauren Hart. And, the other person said, that was Bobby Clark. So?
Bobby Clark.
Who cares about him?
Right.
Who cares about him? You're missing the point.
That hallway.
That was Lauren Hart.
That hallway can be a trip. I saw that. I've told you this. My Ray Bork story.
No.
The Saturday afternoon. This is part of the reason why I hate so much the Bruins. I mean, I hate the Bruins, but that remember the green-eyed bear uniform that they had. It was like a different, mustardy yellow, and it had that sort of like dancing, I don't know, just glazed-eyed bear. Anyway, Ray Bork at postgame is, I walk down, same thing, walking into the hallway, going to the Sabre room, and outside the Bruin room, Nesson is conducting a postgame interview with Ray Bork. And he is standing there in the full uniform top with that jersey on, no pants,
nothing else,
and his socks, like his hockey socks, around his ankles. And so Ray Bork is basically like that awful jersey, bare leg, that I assume has got like a jock strap at the top, whatever. I'm sure
at the most.
I'm guessing he wasn't commando under the jersey, but still, it's that jersey, bare leg, and then balled up hockey socks. I'm just like, Jesus, you're Ray Bork, man.
Put some pants on.
I don't need to see you like this. It's not okay.
It's not okay.
I've never forgotten that. It's just
all
so
right. Story time.
Right. Told you, the vault got open. Passing that,
I know.
sporting goods store just,
Driving to
I need
Orchard
to stop.
Park. We'll do that.
Right.
There's a very little sliver of the new stadium you can see from our location, by the way.
Yes. I walked in, Mike's outside taking a picture.
I was.
You like the view of the stadium? And all I see is like, I don't know, an 8-story pile of dirt.
Yeah.
Is what I see. And I'm like, that's the dirt that they moved, right? And you're like, yeah. And then and you pointed out just right at the very tippy top, you can see a sliver of the stadium.
Should I share that picture?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody's going to get it. You didn't just circle the part where the stadium is.
No, you have to look for it. I'm not circling anything.
All right. Well, I gave it away now.
We're at Hamburg Tap Room, Southwestern and McKinley. We'll be here all day, like it or not. Game 3 Sabres and Bruins. Pre-game at 6. We might have an interview or two even prior to that because they have a lot. We have a lot to give you. We also have the NFL draft tonight. It's been 25. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's been 25 years since the Sabres played a playoff game and the draft, the first round of the draft happened at the same time. But that's the deal. So Sal will join us at 5 and try to do our best to get everybody sort of ready for both things. Our broadcast today is brought to you by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after this timeout on WGR.
Now flipped into the corner. Roy trying to come up with a catch. Couldn't get off. Pinned on his shot right in the goal crease. They walk at it with behind the net. Round on the boards. Kalinder keeping it in. Kalinder got it to Hesh. He tried to clear it in front. Roy scores!
I missed the meeting, but I think I know that goal. That is
the late tying.
They took the lead in the third period against Ottawa in 3 or 4. It's got to be 3, or else I wouldn't have watched it 100 times. 3. That goal is insanely good. I mean, that is just like if tic-tac-toe had more ticks and toes. Just like boom, 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 and then Max buries it on Ray Emery, and then it would be Dumont in overtime. I think that's that night. Just peak Sabres playoff building vibes and noise and just like that. It's not as famous a goal, but it's really good. Sneaky Joe listening says correct. The last time the Sabres played a playoff game on the same day or night as round 1 of the NHL playoffs was 25 years ago, but they did play 2 regular season games during round 1 of the NFL draft 4 and 5 years ago, both at Boston.
Oh, is this like a COVID year or something where the season ran long?
No, just the end of the regular season. 21 and 22 during the first round of the NFL draft, I think. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, I don't know.
That's really
what
late.
Joe says.
That's really late for regular season games to be going into April, which is why I brought up, like, was it some pushback schedule kind of thing or something? Because I can't remember a regular season in hockey outside of a COVID-impacted season lasting to the NFL draft.
Well, I think it happened.
Oh, I believe you. I'm just seeking.
I don't know where my camera went.
I'm seeking a full explanation there. I'm guessing that's got to be.
It's just
something.
what Joe tells.
Yeah.
What Joe says.
Well,
if Joe told you to jump off a bridge,
I'll text Joe. Off the air myself.
We are at Hamburg Tap Room, McKinley and Southwestern in Orchard Park. Game 3 tonight, pregame at 6. Round 1 of the NFL Draft also tonight. Ross Tucker will join us tomorrow. We'll reflect on what the Bills did. Let's take a minute on the Bills. So it's pick 26. Love the idea of a trade down. Always do, so that's not interesting. Kind of think they'll do it tonight. I'd bet on it.
Yeah.
That happens because it seems like pretty obvious. It could be, although it could be a little bit too adjacent to the Coleman pick, where maybe you want a wide receiver, maybe there's 5 you think are about the same. Maybe you push it back into early Friday. That's what happened with Coleman. I wouldn't want to think that would be sort of a process point in this. And maybe they don't want receiver with their first pick at all.
Right.
But they're like an obvious team to move down.
Well, I definitely would not want them to be worried about the optics of trading down because they traded down for Coleman and Coleman hasn't worked so far and probably won't. That would be a terrible process. If the quality of the prospects, which I assume was the case with them in 2024, that they felt like, okay, we've got, this many guys, and if we go this far out, we're still going to get one of our guys, and like that, then we're good. And that ended up being Coleman, and just because that didn't work, because you chose badly, perhaps, then that should not be a reason you avoid doing it right now. I'm usually not Mr. Trade Down, but this draft, from the very start, and it has really not changed, has sounded like maybe the way it's being talked about and written about has the fewest first-round grades of any draft that I can remember. And if that's the case, and if the plateau in this draft is from like 20 to 50 or 20 to 60, then get me in there, and I don't need to. If I can get 26 to get me 2 picks in that space, and go for it. I'm doubling my money, and I don't think I'm really getting that much less of a prospect, no. Really, I'm getting two, and I'm getting two kicks at it that should be comparably graded guys, at least the way I understand it. So I'm all for it. I love seeing Daniel Jeremiah posted his final mock draft yesterday, and he didn't have compensation in there, but when it got to the Bills pick, it's the Cardinals. Like, he's got the trade that I am most enamored of is them coming up to get Ty Simpson at 26 and the Bills getting paid to move down, getting there. They have 33. Last year it was 34 that the Giants traded to Houston to move up to get Jackson Dart. I mean, anybody else can, if somebody else is in love with one of the edge guys or something and wants to do the same thing, great. But I just feel like the quarterback is maybe the most likely reason a team like Arizona would move into the back end of that round. And seeing it in print from someone who's quote-unquote plugged in, I hope it's out there. I hope it's something that can happen because I think it would really help them. It does mean, I don't know, maybe you don't make the trade if someone like Casey Concepcion is there. But certainly if he's there and you trade out, you're not getting him probably. That's a guy that you might lose between 26 and 33. So, you're going to miss out on someone you really like, perhaps, if you do it. And I'm not necessarily sure that I would trade out if it were Concepcion. Like, I'm all for that. That's one scenario where if the Bills want to turn their back on a trade and draft that receiver, I'm not throwing myself in front of that train. I think I'd be good with that. But mostly everybody else, I would trade back.
I have to be careful here because even though it hasn't been as much time, hours spent as other years on the draft, this year, Concepcion is number one by a million miles for who we've talked about. And I have to be me. Like, it's a very exciting idea. Talking to Joe, speaking of Joe, on the pre-draft special, and he's like, I don't understand why anybody thinks he'll make it to the Bills. Well, his over-under is 23.5 or thereabouts. And if you just pick up a random mock draft, you might see him make it to the Bills or even farther. I have to be me, which is I don't want to put one guy on a pedestal versus who else? Cooper, Boston, Brazel, Louisville, Bell, Hurst. Again, every year you have the same thing. It's exactly why trading down is good. And that's just what I would want to do. So I can't just tell you that I would pick this player, Concepcion, no matter what, because that's the Coleman comparison. Like that year, what is it even? It's 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
It's Coleman and McConkey and Leggett and Pearsall and Polk and 5 other ones who were all kind of available. The consensus seems to me to be that, and I want to apologize to our viewers because I'm not on camera right now, and that has to be a blow. The consensus seems to be...
They're getting a great look at the beer menu, though.
Yeah. That there'll be 15-ish receivers drafted by the end of day 2. So that's what? 5 tonight, 10 tomorrow? Give me the 10. Give me a crack at that. Give me 2 of them. I don't know. You're going to need more picks to pull that off.
Yep.
But it sounds to me like this is how it always sounds to me, is that I'd rather be in that camp.
Right. As hot as you might want to be about Casey Concepcion, if you get out of 26, whether he's there or not, you get out of there, you're going to get, whatever, you're going to get a pick in the 90s probably, or there. You're going to get a third round pick. You're going to get that first pick of the second round. And I don't know, you can pick Ted Hurst right there if you want. Then you get a receiver, and then maybe your off-ball linebacker or the last edge guy that is a decent idea or something. I don't know what you get, but you're going to get 2 guys, and it's right to remember that we don't know. As much as everyone has been crushing on Casey Concepcion, we have no idea if he's going to be better than Ted Hurst or Chris Brazel or any of these dudes because that's the deal. So I think I might even want to stump for, you know what, even if he's there, just pay me. You come up here and get your quarterback. I'm going to go back here and plug 2 holes that I perceive to have in my roster, and I'm going to be better off, I think, rather than just taking the one shot.
Arizona is, I think, the most interesting team tonight. For that, secondarily,
but at the top, too. Yeah,
that
right.
pick 3, I mean, it's hilarious what the insiders sound like to me right now. Like, we've got, I don't know who these people, some of them I know. Which one is Diana Rossini? The 5 people on the panel, Peter Schrager, ESPN. Peter Schrager is like, his guess is Arizona picks Jeremiah Love. I can't believe it if they do that. But what did Sigmund Bloom say yesterday with us, the owner? And I've seen that other places, like maybe just they want a splash, and good luck if you take a running back at 3 on a team like that. That's, by the way, also has Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers in their division. It should go great. I mean, just never would that be my idea. But, owners don't know. So,
no, they don't.
And I could be wrong. I mean, that's just, to me, insane. But I feel like if the Cardinals are sort of run properly, big if they're being run properly, they're just continuing to try to shove down everybody's throats. I think it probably it's counterproductive maybe at this point, but that, we're going to take Jeremiah Love if you don't come get him from us. And we'll see what happens. Imagine the Cardinals starting with Love at 3 and then Simpson from the Bills or something like just, I don't know. Maybe they'll be good.
Maybe that'll work.
We've been saying it for 50 years about the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be good. They were good once. 2008. Yeah, no, that's a great move. Put the picture of me up. I've tried.
We put a still shot of
all
you
that
up
time
now.
you were talking, I tried to get back on, but it didn't work. I think that's good. That's us from Buffalo Spree.
Yeah, well, it's you
Or
from
me
it's you from Buffalo Spree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not wearing the same clothes.
I'm not wearing that today.
No, you're not. No.
Shorts day. We are at Hamburg Tap Room. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Your calls are welcome at 803-0550, right?
Yeah, calls. Yeah, calls.
I mean,
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have Sal coming up at 5. We'll get into some Sabre sound, and then Paul from Boston closer to puck drop. Back to Hamburg Tap Room after this break. This is WGR. Josh Norris?
Yeah, that's right. How did we get through a whole segment of talking about this without even mentioning that? It was all about the goalie, right? Yeah, no Josh Norris.
How big a loss?
I think it's significant. I thought before the playoffs got here that he was the one guy that I felt like I need to keep him upright and in the lineup. I just think he gives them, even though he's not like filling the score sheet, I think that line's been good, and I think he's an important player. I mean, I don't want to lean on completely the splits of, he missed a lot of the early part of the season, came back in early December, and they got hot. And I don't want to correlate that entirely, but I also don't think it's just a coincidence.
He missed time after that, too, right?
He did. He missed a little bit of time after that, sandwiched around the Olympic break. I think he missed like a game before the break and then a little bit after, too. So that's right. And it's right to point out that they still had, a good amount of winning in that stretch while he was out. But so pretty big deal, but at least Ostlund is back, so the timing is decent. I mean, I think it will be a plug-and-play replacement. Yeah. I mean, he's going to go right in that spot. And I like Ostlund a lot. I like Ostlund a lot if Norris is there, too. It's just like a trickle-down. So not great. I think, they're not going to say what it is, but he took a weird fall in the first period of Game 2, Norris, behind the net, and was very slow to get up and spent some time I don't know. It's one of those plays that, to me, looked like if there was a concussion spotter in the crowd, why wasn't he in action on this play? Because the player head first, you could hear it in the building, is my understanding. Like, you could hear him hit the boards head first. And I'll bet that he just, we have to guess because they don't tell us anything, okay? So I'm going to take some liberties here. But my guess is that he obviously finished the game, and I think probably tried to just get through it and even practiced yesterday and got up today. It's like, guys, I don't feel good at all. I think that can happen. You're going to try to tell yourself you're fine. You're fine. No one has intervened on your behalf, so you're just going to try to suck it up and get through it, especially a guy that's walking around with the reputation this guy is. And I'll bet he just got up today and was like, yeah, I can't. This is no good. All just guessing on my part, but I think that's all pretty plausible.
Mm-hmm. And with no timetable, also not that unusual.
Right.
In the playoffs, if it were a head injury, that would line up. Okay. Well, I think they can survive it. I want to defend Norris. It feels a little bit like certain players from Sabres past where, like, oh, well, goals aren't there, or whether that's Owen Power a little bit, like, oh, well, is the physical side there? Yeah. Just sort of these maybe like first entry-level questions about the player, their dedication or their durability, whatever it is. Not to lump too many things together, but Norris is somebody I want to back because there's a lot of talent. I mean, the playmaking side has come out this year with the Sabres. He was a good goal scorer, a very good goal scorer with Ottawa.
He's got a great shot.
Yeah, he scored just before the playoffs started on a shot from the circle that, shows that. So it's a loss, but I want to not be, I want to not drown in it.
I would say this way. They had a chance, I think, to improve their lineup tonight by putting Ostlund in for Dunn, say, and Norris being in his usual spot. And I don't think it's not an even trade, Ostlund for Norris. Kozak maybe gives you a little something more than Dunn was going to give you, but they didn't improve themselves. At best, they are treading water, I think.
Without
Norris. Right.
Rasmus Ristolainen, by the way, scores as the Flyers are just rampaging through the Penguins, and they're even in the playoffs. I didn't need Ristolainen. I mean, I'm way past my Ristolainen scar tissue, but I don't need the latest. Is he going to win the Conn Smythe? Is that what's going to happen? We're going down in 5, and then
I don't know.
We're not actually out of our prison.
I loved it last night.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it. Sal Capaccio, a little bit more than an hour, round one of the draft tonight. Your calls are welcome at 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here from Hamburg Tap Room. This is WGR.
Busy sports day for Buffalo. We'll start with the Sabres as Game 3 in Boston is tonight. We did get a little bit of a lineup news from this morning. Lindy Ruff would not give it away officially, but based off the morning skate, Alex Lyon appears to be getting the start in net after UPL got Game 1 and 2. Ruff, however, did give us information, though, on Josh Norris, who did miss the morning skate today, saying that he is not available tonight and is considered day-to-day. Noel Ostlund is going to be sliding into the lineup for Norris. And again, Sabres at the Bruins for Game 3, pregame at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop, and both are going to be right here on WGR. Also coming up a little bit later on in the series, do join Brian Koziel and Owen Parker live this Sunday from 11 to 2 p.m. at Hamburg Tap Room for pregame coverage of Game 4 and more. It's presented by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. And there are 2 other games tonight. 7:30, Ottawa hosts Carolina. The Hurricanes hold a 2-0 series lead, and at 10, the Kings host Colorado. LA in that series trails it 2-0. Then to the Bills. It is draft day. Round 1 is tonight in Pittsburgh. The Bills do, at the moment, are slated to pick 26th overall. We'll see if that does happen, and we'll have coverage throughout round 1. Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself will be over on News Radio 930 WBEN, with Game 3 being, of course, right here on WGR. Coverage will begin at 7. The actual draft, though, will begin at 8, with the Raiders, who own the first overall pick, being on the clock right at 8 o'clock. And do stay tuned. We'll get more on the draft when Sal Capaccio joins the show at 5. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
How many bees is a swarm? Is 2 a swarm or 3, whatever? How many does it have to be? And
like 7.
It's Mike Schopp.
How many times do you have to be stung to have been swarmed? And I was like, dude, I got swarmed. I got stung only once, but I was swarmed.
And the Bulldog.
You insist you were swarmed.
There were bees, man, like plural, big, lots of S's. Lots of E's and S's. Bees. that was not
bees.
Fun. Right. That was not fun.
On WGR.
Hey, man, that kind of hurt.
Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back to Hamburg Tap Room. The day of Game 3, Sabres, Bruins, and then also Round 1 of the NFL Draft. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, thanks for listening. Give us a call if you like, 803-0550. Come out is another option you have. Some old friends on the premises. Is that a word you use, premises?
Occasionally.
Do you?
I might have.
You're open to it?
If I were in your shoes starting the second hour of today's show,
you might have used
I might have used it right in the same way you did.
Awesome. Tremendous.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
They teach us this.
Right. I went to school for this.
Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. Are you going to miss watching the draft? Like, you will. I will and I won't.
I have to say yes, because I have enjoyed it. So in some, but
I think it's the perfect year to miss.
I think if if I were somehow, like, you know, if I was traveling like I was last Thursday and this past Monday and unable to watch it because I was, say, on a plane, like, you know, I would feel like I would be really trying to get the Wi-Fi to work on the plane. And I'd be like, come on, I get the draft. It's a great way to pass 3 hours of this flight. I want to watch the draft. With the fact that there's the hockey game there, I don't know. We'll see what happens if it's a regular hockey game and it's over by 9:45 or 10 o'clock and doesn't turn into one of these, 5-period jobbers like they had in Minnesota last night.
Oof.
Then I'm almost sure there's no way, during the regular season, my, playoffs a little harder. You're a little more, your intensity's up a little more, I think, while you're watching, and it takes a little more time to wind down afterward, sort of like a football game. That's, Bills game at night. But, so I don't think I'm going to turn the TV off and go to bed at, 10 o'clock. And
well, if you did that, you'd miss my appearance on Ship Chasing.
Well, there's always that, too. But the Bills' pick will be it'll be in the window, it'll be like within an hour probably or thereabouts when the hockey game ends. So I'm gonna I'll get my full dose of the draft then. And I don't know. I mean, how much am I going to miss watching the early part? I think I'll miss it. I do like the families and all the, just.
You love that.
I do. I love it. I think, and I'm not sure when that started for me, but it really just as an older dad now. Maybe it's having been through a couple of different drafts with my son. Obviously, very low level junior hockey drafts, but still, you're watching a draft. And when you hear your kid's name picked, like, that's a moment, right? I mean, and then it's just the NFL draft. Like, wow, this is the pinnacle of. So it's a cool. I like that. Emotionally, it works for me.
I think that's great. There's 3 things at play here that have made this year different for me so far, and I don't see this changing. One is the Sabres. I mean, the last decade, by now, I'm completely tuned out by the Sabres if I hadn't been by January. Just like, oh,
right.
All right. So I haven't, been running this playoff pool with hockey, like just sort of it's an afterthought. And tonight, speaking of, pools and that, I would sometimes get involved with friends and bet on the draft. Like that would be a thing. So I think that's one thing. I think another one is that in terms of fantasy football, which is a serious interest of mine, there's not a lot. There's not as much, anyway, that really rides on tonight. You don't have quarterbacks.
Right.
You have the one running back going early, but that was also Genty. That was also Bijan. Like, that's great. But there shouldn't be another running back picked until maybe pick 32. Not even likely there, but Seattle can do what they want. Like, they're a Super Bowl winner, and they let the MVP go.
Right.
So maybe they do that. So that's another piece of it. The Sabres are in the way. The fantasy side of it is not that rich. And I said there were 3 things, right?
Yeah, you did.
I did say there were 3 things. Damn.
You better deliver a third thing.
I wonder if I just combined 2 things into one thing.
I'm on a job action until you come up with a third thing. I'm not talking. Well, for me, a third thing to add, if you don't have one,
right now,
is it's not that I don't want to overdo it. I'm not like really down on the Bills, but I don't know. I sort of alluded to this the other day, and I didn't like how it came out the other day, and I don't think I'm going to like how it came out because I haven't spent a lot of time refining it. But like, I don't know. I think we get so excited about the draft every year, in part out of necessity. I mean, it's the entire content of our show for what, 2 months longer? I mean, it
as long as we can milk it.
Yeah, it's every day, and there's a natural interest that comes out of talking about something more frequently. That it just is. Your anticipation for it is going to rise, and so we're not doing any of that. So I don't have that natural. I'm just not being naturally lifted into a position to be really tuned. Like, ooh, how about which guy from Ohio State's going to go first, or any of that? I'm just sort of. It's all just over there, and the Bills' place in that is just, to me, like, I don't know. Like, in part, I'm just sort of. Okay, go ahead and pick your run stopper at 26. And, like, I don't know. Like, I'll tune in tomorrow and hope you do something that's maybe, I think, more meter moving. So I just.
Like to have them get into round 2 tonight, so we have that tomorrow.
Right. It's not that I don't have faith in Brandon Beane or that, I don't think Joe Brady can do it. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't expect who they pick at 26. When's the last time their first-round pick hit the beach here? I'm not talking about offensive or defensive rookie of the year. I'm just talking about a guy that, like, made an impact.
Trey White.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go back.
Allen, but not as a rookie.
Right.
I mean, there wasn't exactly a home run yet.
I mean, I feel like it's likely to be, and this is not a criticism of the Bills. It's just the reality is you're picking 26th. I mean, I don't know if they get an edge rusher there. I guess it's possible that guy is just like, oh, my God, his hair's on fire. He's killing everybody. But it's also more likely he's more, I don't know, he's more Landon Jackson than he is, I don't know, Daniil Hunter or somebody. Like, I just, I think it'll take a while for this person to get to where he's impactful. And I don't know if that probably has been the case with each one of these drafts, but having the accumulation of these years and the falling short and the draft pick being where it is, and it just hasn't done much for them.
Yep.
And that has left me sort of just feeling like, I don't know, just do what you're going to do. And, like, I'll figure out what I'm going to say about it. But a lot of it is going to be draped in what I'm saying right now, which is like, okay, good luck.
Well, it's a Bills point, if I'm thinking for myself here, it's a Bills point, but it's also just a point about you don't have a second. The whole draft is to be taken in totality and, like, how did you end up? It's maybe not tomorrow where we're being reflective. It's Monday. And then, all right, well, who was the wide receiver that you drafted if there was one? And what else did you do that might have been interesting? And that just is going to look, I predict it's going to look, not that this is really saying that much, a lot thinner if they don't get into round 2 or if they don't get something else on day 2. Because if they don't, then you're going to have to listen to people reminding you that they traded for DJ Moore. And, we know that. And that might turn out great. But, man, I think there's enough with this team that needs to get better and deeper and younger that being left out of the second round would be a blow. I mean, I never liked the trade. I think he's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's better than okay.
I like the player. I might even cop to I like the player kind of a lot. But the price seemed insane.
It just didn't seem like they had to do it.
Right.
But how does it work in life? If you want them,
right? If you
this is your chance to get them.
If you don't pay that price, maybe somebody else does, and they've got DJ Moore, and you've got your self-respect. Like, I didn't want to overpay. Okay, well then, what are you doing now? Right? Like,
you didn't have to do that, but you have to do something.
You have to do something, right? And that would be the urgency to go get an impactful wide receiver today would be there to the extent that you'd probably be talking about spending your second and more to get who knows, Lemon or something. I don't know. I mean, so they at least covered that. That's, I think, though, there's the fantasy piece of it. There's the flash and dash. There's also, like, I'm over here talking about impact. Like, it's hard for me to get excited. The Sabres are a huge part of it too, of course. But, like, what am I? How much juice am I going to get out of who I pick at 26? I feel like it doesn't happen for them often enough for me to get real excited about it. That's where the receiver piece, I think that's why it gets focused on so much. I don't want to speak for everyone here, but, like, you can still look at their receiving core, even if you can tell me it's Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir, and DJ Moore. I got my starting 3. What are we complaining about? There's room for another guy. And if another guy shows up and can catch 50 passes for them as a rookie, that's an impact that I don't think you're going to get out of the defensive tackle from Ohio State. And that, I think, who's going to stop the run? I don't know. They've been terrible at stopping the run, and they win 12 or 13 games every year getting out of bed. So I'm not that worried still. I know it's draft day. We got to stop the run. Okay. Do we? Give me somebody that can help Allen, and that would change my whole perception of the thing, right? I'd be like, oh, I got a guy that they drafted a first round. He's going to be on the field, and if he could play, then that's I think I've got something.
Yeah, I think that was number 3. Just like, what does it really do to you if they make the pick at 26 and it's, a defensive lineman or even an offensive lineman? That's still, I think, some possibility. Last time I looked at the odds at BetOnline, it was the second choice was offensive line. You mentioned earlier, by the way, you were not around for when I went off on this the other day, how there are maybe fewer, the Bills might be ready to tell you when the dust settles, fewer players that they had first-round grades on. I mean, if the draft is bad, how is that going to manifest? You're going to have teams talking like that there aren't as many, first-round worthy players. I have a sort of a mental block about this because, to me, there should necessarily be exactly 32 first-round grades. Like, why do I need to compare it to 5 years ago or last year or something? Like, what? I have a list of all the players in the pool, with positional value also in mind. I'm not putting the top kicker first if he made literally every kick in his college career, so I'm also factoring that in. But I would have 32 first-round players, and I come up at 26. Who's the top one on my list? I don't want to be drafting for need, and I don't want to be a slave to, well, gosh, there are only 13 first-round players in this draft. I didn't get one, so maybe that is the impetus to trading out, which I think is not necessarily good process, but it'd be a good result in my mind. I don't know. I can't reconcile that NFL teams only have a number of first-round grades that's lower than 32, because there are going to be 32 first-round picks.
Well, the activity will end with there being 32 players who are first-round picks. And how many of these teams try to play games with that? Oh, no, we had a first-round grade on our guy. Like, if everybody says that, then half the teams are lying. And they probably will, because, who's gonna compile all that? I don't know. Who? When I ask you, hopefully you remember. Who right after the draft 5 or 6 years ago, we had a guy on that listened to every –
Scott Barrett.
Thank you, Scott Barrett. Every news conference, every post-draft –
He does that every year.
News conference. It's brilliant, right? So maybe he's the guy for this. Like, he'll know if every team in the league says, no, we actually had a first-round grade on our guy. Because, if they're asked, maybe he'll get that info. But, well, no. I mean, if you have your grading system and a first-round pick has to be, I'm thinking of, even Chris Trapasso's resin grade. Whatever grading system you have, it's going to have cutoffs, I would imagine, right? And so that's how it is. I mean, eventually, sure, you're going to see 32 guys picked in each round or more when there's bonus picks for, compensation for free agent losses or whatever. But, yeah, I think that just sounds to me like the consensus is going to be that teams, not everyone will have the same number, I wouldn't think. But if it's below 20, which I think it sounds like it is in this draft, then that's just what it is. There's not that many good, great prospects.
Sal has said that, if I'm wrong, I hope I'm corrected, never in his experience have the Bills had, to his knowledge, 32 first-round picks. Well, I don't get it. Just, there are 32 first-round picks. But, I've tried again to express myself on that.
I don't think I can help you. I've done all I can do.
I know. There aren't that many. I don't know, shorten the draft, always trade. What do you want to do if you don't have 32? Get out of there.
It's definitely a part of the reason I'm as open as I've ever been to getting out of there.
Maybe Cincinnati had 9 first-round grades, and then they traded, isn't it 10 for Dexter Lawrence? They traded pick 10.
Yes, right.
Because there are only 9.
Right.
So 10, we were screwed.
We're going to go get this guy.
That's interesting. The Giants now become the 6th team in the NFL to have at least 2 picks in the first round. I think they're all exactly 2.
Yep.
Nobody has 3.
That's right.
But there are 6 teams. Last year there were none. We made it to the night, and everybody still had their first-round pick. It was really boring. Last year at this time maybe is when it started on Travis Hunter. Or I think it was later than 4:19 in the afternoon. All times Eastern. It wasn't until I left work last year, there was no hockey game we're talking about, and went to meet my sister, I think it was, at a place. And, I know. It was when Carlin was back in town after Florida won the national championship. My sister was there. Lots of old GI friends were there, Carlin Hartman. And the draft was on, and it was like, wow, I think this is really happening. I think it was late in the evening that the Browns and the Jaguars made that trade. Anyway, it's just to say that there was no action, and there wasn't any leading up. And now this year you have 6 teams. The Jets and the Giants are 2. Also interesting, unless you wanted to talk about that for a minute, is we've done this too. All 4 AFC East teams are candidates to draft a receiver in the first round. I think the Bills might be the least likely, although maybe A.J. Brown changes that.
For New England,
New England.
Right. If that's really, that smoke really is going to turn to fire. It seems like it will.
Jets with 2 picks seem obvious. Miami seems even more obvious in a vacuum than the Jets.
Yep.
And, New England, perhaps. Bills, perhaps, at this point. I'll say one more thing about New England. Now I'm rolling. I didn't need to number anything before. Why did I even do that? Just get yourself into trouble. I have 3 points, then you forget one.
I always forget the third point.
I was texting this with Sal about this earlier. I think I would cross New England off for being in prime time in week 1.
The coach.
Yeah. Who's going to want to cover that? It's not just him. It's her. Like, it's really dangerous territory for the whole thing. The coach and the reporter. And, I mean, now you have Rabel taking – it's so weird, isn't it?
It's all
Saturday?
It's Saturday.
Why Saturday?
Right. I don't know. Why Saturday? I mean, the news story about the 5 or 6 years ago, I don't think it's crazy to think that he could get fired over this at all.
Oh, I don't either. Well, he resigns.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think he gets fired, but I think he could resign.
I think he could resign at gunpoint. Like, it's not, like, dude, this is, this is bad. This is bad. And I think it is. I mean, I'm not judging anybody. I wonder how worried Robert Kraft is about how the players on the team will react to him. Like, I don't know. Like, some of them may think, "Hey, you go, yeah, wait, you're our hero" or something. I don't know, in some weird way. But that is a really, really bad situation for him and that team. I don't feel good about them at all right now.
Just would be, to me, a long shot that they end up as the defending AFC champions.
Right.
They're going to have primetime games.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I said to Sal, his buddy in the if that's not too strong, in the league office who writes the schedule, I wonder if there are like contingency plans with the Patriots in mind, because we don't know what's going to happen yet, and it's not a topic that broadcasts are going to want to talk about. But if Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year, defending AFC coach, is not there, then you can't avoid it. So anyway, we'll talk to Sal later, see what he has in mind for the Bills tonight and all weekend. Josh Norris has been ruled out for Game 3, Sabres and Bruins tonight. Alex Lyon, we think, is going to start, and it's huge.
Yeah. Noah Ostlund is back in. He'll go into Norris' spot between Benson and Doan. And Paul also reports that Kozak is going in for Dunn on the fourth line between Malenstein and Greenway. So 2 changes. I might guess that only one was planned. I think Ostlund being ready was going to happen. I guess it's possible that the Norris situation made them feel like they wanted to push Ostlund in, but they were talking yesterday like Ostlund would be ready. I don't know if they were already worried about Norris or not. I mean, he participated, as far as I know. Although, wait, were they even on? Maybe they weren't even on the ice yesterday. Maybe they just had meetings. Anyway, whatever. Ostlund's in, Kozak's in, Norris out, Lyon, we expect in goal. He had the net to himself. Lindy's playing his usual games, but, Ellis and Luukkonen were in one net, and the starter always gets his own net at the game day skate, and that was Lyon today.
Alex Lyon is an interesting interview. And was it Owen yesterday who got him?
He was at the podium, but Owen was there Owen covered practice or whatever.
It'd be good to listen to that.
So it's not a conversation with Owen and Alex Lyon. It's right. Alex Lyon at the podium.
Is Owen heard at all?
Good question. I don't know.
Might be good to listen to that. See how Lion is feeling about how this is all gone. We've certainly talked about it enough times. Sal's coming up at 5, pregame at 6. Paul Hamilton in Boston. We're at Hamburg Tap Room, McKinley and Southwestern. Big spot. Lots of people here. Just going to get bigger as we go through the day and closer to kind of an amazing sports day or sports night. Sabres Bruins, round 1 of the NFL draft. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. This is WGR.
Start with the Buffalo Sabres, as we do have a number of lineup changes for Game 3. Lindy Ruff would not give it away with the media, but based off the morning skate today, Alex Lyon does appear to be getting the start in net after Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got Game 1 and 2. Ruff, however, did give an update on Josh Norris, saying he's not available tonight and he is considered day-to-day. And with that, Noel Ostlund is going to be sliding into the lineup. And as mentioned, it is Game 3, Sabres at Boston. Pre-game is at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop, and both are going to be right here on WGR. And staying with Sabres in the playoffs, do join Brian Koziel and Owen Parker live this Sunday from 11 to 2 p.m. at Hamburg Tap Room for pregame coverage of Game 4 and more. It is presented by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. Then for the Bills, as mentioned, it is draft day. Round 1 is tonight in Pittsburgh. The Bills, at the moment, are slated to pick 26th overall. We will see if that does eventually happen. And we'll have you covered throughout Round 1. Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself will be over on News Radio 930 WBEN, with Game 3 being right here on WGR. Coverage will begin at 7, with the actual draft beginning at 8 o'clock. The Las Vegas Raiders do hold the number 1 overall pick. The draft will officially begin at 8. And do stay tuned. We'll get more on tonight. Sal Capaccio does join the show at 5. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Mike Schopp in the Bulldog Hamburg Tap Room, Game 3, Sabres and Bruins from Boston. Paul Hamilton pregame, 6 o'clock. Sal Capaccio in half an hour talking about the Draft 2, which kicks off at 8. 8? What is this, 1980? 8?
No, 1980, the draft would still be going on after having started at 10 a.m.
That's right. Those were the days.
We'd be into round 5 right about now.
Why was that not better? What's the latest on Beefaroni? Do you know, is there any update on its status, or is Beefaroni moving up on boards or down, or what's happening with Beefaroni?
My understanding is that Beefaroni was caught with an inordinate, an illegal number of additives and chemicals above and beyond the other Chef Boyardee jams, and some teams have taken Beefaroni entirely off their draft board.
Oh no!
Because of it. There's a lot of controversy.
That's tough.
I thought some teams are looking at it as their will to win is greater. They were willing to bend the rules, and others are just saying we don't want anything to do with it.
Don't want the distraction.
Right.
Yeah, those teams are more focused on Doc the Duck.
Or imaginary grandparents.
I hope I remember this every day. I never want to forget about that mock draft from yesterday. My Twitter has it if you want it. So does Jeremy's. Alex Lyon expected to start tonight. We got a lot when it comes to player sound. Here's some of what Lyon had to say yesterday about where things are at.
Oh, it's nice to get a little taste last night for sure, just to kind of feel what it's like. But that's just being a goalie, especially in my position. You always got to stay ready, and something that you get better at with over time. But all you can do is go in and try to put your best foot forward and really give it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Are there parts of that you kind of enjoy? Because I think back to that night in Edmonton that sort of jump-started your season. Similar situation, you get thrown in, you almost don't have time to think. It seems like you do pretty well in that setting.
Yeah, I've always been, especially coming off the bench, I've always found success doing that. So I have a lot of confidence doing that. But there's no secret recipe to any of it. Starting, being off, it's just you got to grind, and it's never easy. And when you think it's going to be easy, that's usually when things start to go south. So you just kind of have to have that tension all the time.
Alex, you have a lot of playoff experience in the NHL and the AHL. You've been on long runs, but so how does all of that, what you've done, lend itself to this year's team's pursuit in the playoffs?
Yeah, every time you play in a playoff game, you gain a little bit more experience, some situations more than others. Obviously, the American League playoff is a bit less pressurized than the NHL playoffs, but just being through it before, kind of understanding, that you just can't get too high or too low, that there's going to be adversity within the game and within each period and within each shift, and you just got to be ready to accept that and fight through it, and just keep in mind that we're gonna fight until as long as it takes, and that's the mentality that we have. And I think that, in my experience, that's the best mentality to have. Is if it takes 5 overtimes, Game 7, then that's what it's going to take. But you just got to continue to fight for every inch you can, and treat every shift as if it really matters a lot. So that's the fun part about the playoffs.
Hey, Alex, when you see a goal like that happen to Ukko-Pekka last night, what's the feeling as the goalie on the bench watching that kind of thing unfold, and how do you feel for him, having that kind of thing happen?
Yeah, I feel bad. It stinks, but we've all been there. It's happened to everybody. It's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. And you guys know Upi. I think if there's anybody that's equipped to deal with that in the best way possible, it's him. And he's got a very, very strong mindset. He's very mentally tough. So there's no doubt. Nobody doubts that he's gonna bounce back. But you just can't put too much pressure on yourself. And mistakes are going to happen, like I said, and the ability to rebound from those is the most critical aspect of being a professional athlete. So he's going to be just fine. He's been playing great, and everybody has extreme confidence in him.
It was a pretty heated third period last night. You were caught on camera, jawing a little bit. I mean, how much do you just love that part about this time of year, just how competitive it gets and how the animosity builds throughout the course of a series?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like that aspect of the game. I think I probably bother some guys on our team because I take that approach too often. When I should probably just put it in the back pocket every once in a while, but it's just how I am, and that's how I play the game, and that's just how it goes out there. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have respect for the guys in the other team, and you have to respect them. They're phenomenal players. They have a really good team, so you don't want to lose sight of that either. That they get paid to play the game as well, but for sure, you just gotta, you don't ever want to back down from the moment, and the older I get, the more I really enjoy those moments, and that's kind of what gets you stimulated. So I really enjoy that.
So I'll follow up on that, I guess. How would you describe your the mindset or headspace you like to be in out there?
Yeah, well, I think I've learned this a little bit, and I don't have a ton of NHL playoff experience, but I've been in enough with, like you said, AHL or NHL situations to know that the adrenaline is going to take over, and you're going to be very excited, and the more calm you can remain, the better it's going to be, because you're going to elevate with that adrenaline and with that stimulation naturally. So, playoffs is obviously a heightened intensity, but from the guys that I've been around, it's always just about execution, and you got to just stay right in the moment. Can't get too far ahead, can't get too far behind, and if you can just continue to execute and focus on the right things, that's why you spend 11 months out of the year, or whatever, 10 months out of the year, trying to nail those details down, have good habits, do the right things, so that in these situations it carries through. And so I really try to lean on that and really try to trust yourself. And again, just enjoying the process is critical, just because it's too pressurized of a situation to place all that pressure on yourself. So you just have to enjoy it and and just be in the moment.
Alex, you went through a stretch from after the Olympic break to early April where you were rotating in goal with UPL. How did that help you, stay fresh physically and psychologically during that span and prepare for the playoffs?
Yeah, you always want to find sustained success during the regular season. Sustainability is really important. It's hard to go 9 months and really exhausting yourself emotionally every single night. So that sustainability, I think, was really good for both of us. I would say even more than the freshness, obviously really nice, but just routine. We're all routine-oriented creatures of habit, So I think that routine was nice. Looking back, it was pretty good.
How does the road dynamic change in the playoffs? And do you feel like the success you guys have had on the road is prepared as a group for these next couple games?
Yeah, I think same answer as the last one. You spend all year trying to hone those details in, and I think about that a lot. Like, if you're in the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, how are you going to prepare? And I think to have that in the chamber and kind of understand those habits that you can lean on and those routines that you can lean on, it's really important. So for us going on the road, we don't have to make too much of it. We're going there to bring our best for 60 minutes tomorrow night, and that's that. So simple mindset and just do the right things, continue the habits that we've been working on, and just not to overthink it too much.
You've talked a lot this year about needing to love the adversity, I think is kind of how you phrase it. In the playoffs, every bit of adversity is going to be magnified like times 100, but how have you felt in the last, 12 hours, whatever it is, your team kind of handle what happened last night and, kind of park it and move forward?
Yeah, it's difficult to a degree, I think, when maybe you haven't had quite as much of that experience of the highs and the lows. I think, and not even the lows, because when you lose a game, you have natural motivation and you have natural fire. Whether that shows up or not is a different conversation, but that motivation is fun, and I've always really liked that. And like you said, you have to kind of love it. But one of the hardest things to do in the playoffs, especially when you're going every other day, is when you have success and when you win a game, to be able to control that emotion as well. It works in the same way as the negativity. And you got to enjoy it, like I said, but at the same time, you can't let yourself get swept up in the fanfare and the grandness of it. It's just a hockey game, and you go out there, try your best to win, lay it on the line, and then accept the results and then move on. For sure. I mean, that's not even playoffs. That's regular season too. That's just human nature. That's being a human, and we all are trying to put a scientific parameter on a very non-scientific thing, right? That's what goalie specifically is at the end of the day, but that's what we're all trying to do, is kind of be robotic in an unrobotic thing. But you also have to understand that it's human nature, and like there's going to be highs and lows, and so you just get better at moving forward and not making too much of it.
Alex Lyon expected to start tonight for the Sabres in Game 3. He has started 2 playoff games in his career, and they were both in Boston when he played for Florida. Then he also maybe started in Florida in Game 3.
Yeah, he started the first 2 games in Boston, and then started Game 3.
Okay.
And got pulled. I'm looking at how much time. 48 minutes in that game. But Bobrovsky came in and finished up.
And they split the Panthers, the 2 games he started in Boston in that series. Been on several teams: Flyers, Hurricanes, Panthers, Red Wings, and now the Sabres. And he's coming into this, including the relief effort on Tuesday, but his prior 3 starts were all losses. At Anaheim in overtime, way back when, that West Coast trip. but then to Detroit and Washington later in the season. Very interesting. We'll have plenty more time to talk about it. Sal's going to jump on in a little bit less than 20 minutes to talk about the draft. Round 1 gets going tonight at 8. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at Hamburg Tap Room. Game 3 with pregame at 6 coming up tonight here on WGR. that the Sabres will play a playoff game at the same time as the first round of the NFL draft. You know, good on where we are, Hamburg Tap Room. Anybody else of the sort, got to have both. I mean, you gotta have both going tonight. I mean, most places, of course, can handle that. Are we MSG tonight, and then ESPN, of course, for the draft?
Yeah, I definitely will be MSG tonight. TNT has got the game nationally, and
right.
But it's whatever. It's not. It's a wonky. It's a crew I don't want to watch. I'll just leave it at that. Last night, Flyers Penguins was as good as the NHL on TV in America can get, I think.
Kenny
Albert and Boucher in the booth and Jody Shelley downstairs. When you get Boucher away from Olchuk and Olchuk's weird sort of jocular teasing of Boucher, which I don't know anyone who finds it funny, but everybody's got different tastes. I don't get it. It sort of wrecks it. But Albert is excellent, and I like Boucher a lot, and I think Shelley is one of the fastest rising stars in that whole space. He was just a guy to me like a year or two ago, and I think he's excellent now. And their studio show is really great. And they had. I love when Lundqvist is there because when they let him talk about goaltending, I find that really interesting. Bissonnette's not everyone's favorite. He's not even my favorite, but I get why he's there and what he's there for.
Did you get him last night with the scumbag stuff?
I didn't catch the scumbag
First
stuff.
intermission?
No.
Oh, what did he call him? Everybody's in the penalty box at once in that game.
Yeah.
And he kind of blamed the whole thing on Philly. Scumbag buddies. There he is, scumbag with his scumbag buddies.
Wow.
In the box.
All right.
I named 3 fantasy teams that after hearing that.
Well, and I think Liam McHugh does a fantastic job of steering that whole thing. Anson Carter, I could take or leave, but it is so superior to anything ESPN puts on the air, studio-wise or game-wise. I think ESPN has been a disaster with hockey.
Is that bad? Okay.
It's really bad. Travis has been bugging me. Whatever. He's bugging
the sound.
He's bugging the world. The sound.
He's right.
And it's horrendous.
For years.
Yeah, it's just really bad. I don't know why it should not be that bad. TNT is just worlds better to me.
Interesting.
The talent and the quality of the broadcast.
Well, that's there tonight. That's where the Sabres are tonight, if not on the
right.
local feed for anybody listening who might not be around. We're at Hamburg Tap Room, filling up. Coming up on 5 o'clock, Sal Capaccio is here. We'll talk about round 1 of the NFL draft, best, worst case scenarios, and more after the next update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. Big night. This is WGR.
Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself will be over on News Radio 930 WBEN, of course, with Game 3 right here on GR. Coverage will begin at 7, and the Raiders, who do own the first overall pick, will be on the clock at 8 p.m. Do stay tuned. Coming up next, Sal Capaccio will join the show. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Big night. Welcome back. We're at Hamburg Tap Room today, McKinley and Southwestern. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, Sal Capaccio joining as well. Tweet from Sneaky Joe. Pick one. The Sabres scored the first goal tonight, or the Bills picked Casey Concepcion. Joe, take a play off, Joe. I think anybody you want for the Bills is worth more than the first goal. If that's your, if you're somebody who thinks if you're player take guy, if you're ball knower.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I know you hate that.
Ball knower, talk ball.
Frank, the story is Utah.
Shoot me in the face.
I mean, you can't just pick one goal in Game 3 over your draft crush, can you? Joe.
I don't know.
Loves to play. What a player.
I am so – we let off today, and Sal, you can speak to this because your job is going to be, across the street here covering the draft. I wonder what the room will be like with all the Buffalo media in there while the hockey game is going on. Mike asked, what's your percentage, Sabres, Boston Game 3 draft? And I was like, somewhere between 88 and 93% Sabres. I'm just so heavily leaning – I don't have enough of a favorite guy to care. I would take the first goal in this game ahead of anybody because there's nobody that I'm that married to in this draft.
So it's funny. I was listening to you earlier today. He asked that question. My guess immediately was, boy, it's got to be over 75. Do we get to 90? So in the 80s, I felt was good. It's something we've talked about a while, maybe happening. It is happening tonight. What's interesting is in the Bills media room, the way it's set up, you have the podium where, we see Brandon Beane, whoever. There's a TV above him to the left and above him to the right that we all look at. So we have all these media tables and we watch. Typically, the NFL draft, one of the TVs has the NFL draft on, ESPN or NFL Network coverage, whatever it is.
Sure.
The other TV typically has NHL playoffs or NBA playoffs, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
We do normally do that. So tonight, it's obviously going to be Sabres. The question I have tonight, though, is will we have sound on? Because we normally kind of do not so people can work. But it is the Sabres.
Right.
And I'm guessing maybe not because people are working. And, somebody might say, hey, does anybody care if we put the sound on for a period or whatever? That matters to everybody. We try to be respectful of everybody's jobs.
Right.
But you have people who are doing a lot of work with their computers or going and doing audio or video or whatever.
Right.
100%.
Sure.
So what I did today was I thought of the strategic move today. All right, I already have I have my headphones. Got my Meta glasses I can hear on too. So I have ways to hear through the if I want to watch on the computer and get the sound. Right, I can do that way.
Yep.
And I also brought an iPad so I can put the Yankees on.
Wow.
And I can have that off to the side as well.
Got your whole little studio going.
Yes. So there we go. I'm ready to rock and roll, guys.
Right on.
That works.
You have a mock draft up where the Bills take Ohio State defensive lineman Caden McDonald. This has been a fairly popular projection to my eyes throughout the process. How, with wide receivers at least, we're parsing between guys and teardrops and these kinds of things. How significant, in your opinion, for the Bills in terms of McDonald is that it's him and not somebody else who might be comparable to him?
At the same position?
Yeah.
I think there are a few guys who you could argue to take ahead of them depending on their flavor, Mike. I think an under-talked about name, Kristen Miller from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Really good, who's kind of considered like Caden McDonald light a lot of ways. meaning like he's not quite as good, but I think you could certainly make the argument that a projection for him in like 3 years, he could be the better player. Like you could maybe do that. Peter Woods is there, Caleb Banks. I think, though, if you really want the run stuffer, McDonald's the first name you get to. If you want to do what the Bills, I think, want to do on defense, he's the first name. If he's gone, I do think there are other names there. So I think he's one, and then the other guys are behind him. But I could certainly make an argument, if depending on what they want for that position, that another guy could be chosen.
And McDonald what is McDonald? In the Bills situation, he becomes their nose tackle,
He becomes their nose tackle, yeah. Right. And, look, he's not Ted Washington, okay? But he is an anchor. He's strong at the point of attack. And he racked up a lot of tackles at that position. For an interior defender in college to get 9 tackles for loss, like that just means he's doing his job and diagnosing well. He's not going to offer you a lot of pass rush. He did have 3 sacks last year. What I've seen and read about him from people who've really watched him, they've said, look, he's actually got a good pass rush set that needs to be a little bit more refined. He wasn't asked to do it a lot, and he can come along in that regard, but the Bills aren't asking him to do that right away anyway. The Bills are asking him to make tackles and help out. Again, this is not a guy you're just putting down as a big body to eat up double teams. That's not actually his strength. His strength is point of attack, hold up, make the tackle. Like diagnose, make the tackle. That's what he does.
So no second-round pick as of now. How does that, if maybe they'll make a trade, we've talked about that a lot, and I kind of think I would bet that they do, to trade out of 26 and end up with 2 picks on day 2 from it. But if they don't, what does that mean to their strategy tonight? Like if say they know they can't move out of 26, with other needs they might have in mind. Does that affect how they look at that pick at 26, knowing that they don't have a second-round pick, at least at the moment?
I think it does more from the trade part, Mike, than the player part. But I also think it's a little bit more important to get an impact player with that pick without having a second-rounder, because if you don't, you're kind of already, just kind of by nature, maybe conceding that your entire draft's going to be a redshirt draft. Like, what is a third-round pick really going to make an impact? It can happen. Deion Walker played, but how impactful can these guys be? Once you have a first-round pick that doesn't, that doesn't make an impact, if you don't have a second-rounder, where are you getting your impactful player in a draft?
And at least with this player at that position,
correct,
as opposed to a receiver who I would love a receiver, but it's not a given that even Casey Concepcion would displace Josh Palmer.
Correct.
He's not displacing DJ Moore or Khalil Shakir walking in the door, I wouldn't think. So not having that second pick, at least you get McDonald, this guy's going to be playing 40, 50% of the snaps for me probably.
That's right.
Right out of the
This is my argument against edge rusher. Like, I think a nose tackle plays more than an edge rusher on this team right away. I don't know where the edge rusher plays. With Rousseau and Chubb and Javon Solomon, the way they've talked about him, he's going to have a role. Michael Hoyt's coming back at some point. Is that week 1? I don't know, but he's coming back at some point. Like, I just think this guy at this position, to your point, Mike, if you want a guy that can play a little bit right now, that's what you do. But I do think, Mike, getting back to your conundrum about, first-round grades, when you get to 26, if there's not a guy that you believe is normally a first-round talented player that's worthy of that pick, because to me the draft's about value. That's what it is, it's value. Then you try to move back and say, we're going to get more bang from our buck in value in the second round if we can recoup that. And in the third round, than taking one guy in the first round at 26 who generally is not the 26th best player in the draft like it normally would be. I mean, not 26th best, like a first-round talent, like he might be or close enough to it, I should say.
I mean, I'm not trying to brag. I've got a pretty good streak going of completing the New York Times crossword puzzles. I can't figure out the first round grade thing. I get it. I understand. But to me, it should always be 32. Every year is different. But no, of course, the 26th best player, so to speak, in a given draft will vary year to year. So your mock draft, talk about it. You've got 3 wide receivers. This is similar to other years. If this happens, Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston.
It's like the Kincaid year all over again.
Casey Concepcion. Yes, right. I mean, that was 4 in a row, wasn't it?
Jackson Smith and Jigba, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He was one of them. That would mean 6 receivers off the board by pick 24.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's a little rich versus consensus. It's your guess here. How do you see it going?
Yeah, so if this draft were to go according to my mock, essentially, you get to 22, and there's only 3 receivers drafted, and you want one, you're like, here we go, baby, let's go. We're getting our guy. We're getting one of these guys. All of a sudden, 22, Amari Cooper. 23, Denzel Boston. 24, KC Concepcion. And now you're left like, okay, my next best choice is Chris Bell? Like, am I doing that in the first round? I just don't think so. So you have to pivot. I think the Bills would absolutely consider a receiver, and I've told you guys why, mainly because of the financials of it and all of that. I think KC Concepcion would be a fantastic pick for the Bills. Personally, I'd be excited if they had KC Concepcion. But I've seen a lot of linkage from him to the Browns. Like, they could use a guy there. I mean, it feels more like the Eagles would go because if they're going to trade A.J. Brown, maybe a bigger body like Denzel Boston, who I have. But you could see them doing that. They're going to need a wide receiver. They did trade for Dontavius Wicks. There's some teams that need wide receivers. So I could see guys going a little bit earlier than what you want if you want a wide receiver.
Denzel Boston of Washington.
There you go.
That's interesting.
That's
right. I want to predict that there'll be lots of trades in this draft tonight because if the consensus is the predictions are accurate, people don't like this draft. So, sure, I'll give you my 3rd. I'll give you my 5th. I'll give you my 6th, whatever, to move up to get somebody that I might think, to the first-round grades point, is, above a certain tier break. So, if it goes this – you're not doing trades in this mock draft, and I don't blame you for not. But if it does kind of play out like this, whether it's the Bills or someone else, I bet there would be a lot of movement.
Listen, I agree with you, but I think it's got to happen in the middle area because I think that's where the first-round grades fall off. So let's say 10 to 15, right? Mike, you made a great point the other day when I was listening, and I wasn't on with you, and you said, well, if everybody has 15 first-round grades, not all the 15 players are going to be the same guy, right? So let's just say that.
Sure.
So let's just think there's going to be teams sitting at 15 through 20 that go, ooh, our guy is still there, where other teams don't think that guy's a first-round pick. Right. Let's go up and get him. But everybody know there's a drop-off, but which guy is your guy where it drops off, right? So I think the trades, and I agree with you, could come in that maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 down to 15 area. Maybe that's the sweet spot if you want to make trades. I think once you get past 15, all it takes is one team to go, we really love a guy, and they have a first-round grade. But after that, the consensus is who's trading up to get a guy?
Arizona because they want Ty Simpson.
It's exactly right. You said that's your dream scenario for that, and you're right about that, Bulldog. It's the only one.
Right.
Unless there's a guy that really falls and says, it could also be position value. So let's play this out for a second. I think this happened with the Bills a couple years ago. It might have been. I don't know if it was Harrison. It might have been a different draft. But either way, if it's positional value, say, look, we really do want to get a corner in this draft. And a team's sitting there going, our gap from the corner that's available to the next one is so steep, we just can't take that risk. Let's go get our guy. It's probably not necessarily worth the pick we're taking him at, but we need to do that now.
Last best
That's right.
Point,
Correct.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
So offensive tackle, maybe 2. You have 5 tackles in the first round. It's a good year for that.
It is, and I just don't understand. Am I missing something that people mocking offensive tackle to the Bills, like nationally? I've seen like 3 of them. I don't get it. The Bills have Spencer Brown, and they just signed to a contract extension last year as a young player they really like. They have Deion Dawkins still on a 2-year deal, which I think they feel they are comfortable with his number. Like, they're not itching to move off him. I know we talked some about that in just different scenarios this offseason. Right. I would tell you this, because I know I've talked to Brandon Beane about stuff like this before, which is, let's just say, for example, you move off a guy like that. Who are you replacing him with? Are you really going to put a rookie to protect Josh Allen's left side? Like, I don't know where a tackle comes in at this point. So I don't understand that particular mock to the Bills.
Well, it's a logical conclusion then to draw that it might be interior defensive line or even linebacker, I suppose, if they're looking for somebody that can play right away.
Agreed.
And not have to move other guys around or off the team, right? So
agreed.
The other thing that kind of points to interior defensive line is their inactivity at the position.
That's a great point.
This spring. They haven't done anything there, right?
One addition on the entire front, including linebacker. They've made one addition to D-line, interior, edge, and linebacker, Bradley Chubb. That's it. Yeah. Everybody else is somebody who was on the team last year, which I find mind-blowing because we talked a lot about how this defense is going to get so overhauled. Mm-hmm. There's been no overhaul other than guys they haven't re-signed.
Right.
There's no Matt Milano on the team right now. They didn't re-sign him. Joey Bosa, right? Like guys who are free agents who aren't on the team. I find it fascinating. I agree. So it tells me two things. I do think they like their group. I do. I think the Bills like their interior D-line group. But I think they still have to figure out where these guys play, and there's not a perfect solution to some of their skill sets. And as you pointed out, right, Bulldog, and I agree with you, Deion Walker's best fit is not to be in the middle of a defense tackling ball carriers who come guard to guard. His best fit is to get up and down the line a little bit and have some mobility to move and penetrate and be able to do that.
Sal Capaccio is out with us here at Hamburg Tap Room today. We'll be here until 7. Sabres and Bruins, Game 3 of the first round tonight. What do you think of Mendoza? How strong are you on him as being worthy of 101? Nobody is even playing the game this year with like another idea at the first pick. Nobody's even trying. You have the occasional, he's not as good. Maybe
yeah, Orlovsky got to Simpson is better, but whatever. Yeah, right.
But nobody's playing any games. The Raiders themselves included are not, trying to. They're not the Cardinals here trying to convince you that they're open for business.
I mean, the first 3 teams in the draft, if all of them had the top pick, they would take him. I mean, because he's the quarterback, and it would match up. Because this is perfect fit value, right? Fit for the position and the player.
Raiders.
If you're asking me about him, like with this draft class, it's a slam dunk. Of course, he's the only one. There are just no quarterbacks really to talk about other than Simpson maybe in the back end of the first round. Compared to other drafts, compared to how he will play in the league, I actually maybe am a bit higher on Mendoza than a lot of other people who might not like him a lot. I think he's smart. I don't think he has the strongest arm, but I don't think he can make all the throws. He's fine.
Yeah.
He has the experience. He's been well coached. He's very coachable. I think he's got all those intangibles. The biggest question I have, and this is just from me going through the Josh Allen experience and Sam Darnold and watching these guys since 2018 and how this has evolved, can the organization do it right with him? It's about organization for me. If the Raiders do it right, I think he's going to be good. If the Raiders don't, I think, we're going to be searching for another one in 4 years.
Yeah.
They have to figure out up front, which was a disaster last year. It buried Genty, but you still have a great talent at running back, and you have the best tight end in the NFL probably. And then, receiver, figure it out. But, yeah, I think there's some reason to be optimistic about them. Jeremiah Love. Jay Glazer had a tweet today that, I don't know if he wants it back, but just like, he's the best. We've talked about him actually too recently. He's somebody that I don't think is parroting agents all the time or the rest of the league. But he said there were 4 players in this draft from talking to personnel people that the way he worded it was double-digit Pro Bowls. If a running back makes 10 Pro Bowls, like does the NFL really – are people in the league actually predicting that?
Right.
Not to take it too literally, but double-digit Pro Bowls for anybody, like that's Hall of Fame. And especially a running back. He'll be lucky to be in the league.
10 years.
I don't think there's any – I mean, most people believe who follow the draft, he is the best overall football player in the draft. If you're doing your big board, he's number 1 on most big boards, right? And he's the number 1 guy. I think he could go number 3 to Arizona. I've seen that a lot.
Yep.
But I got him going 4 to Tennessee because Arizona taking David Bailey because the draft starts at 2. A lot of times we say draft starts at 5. There's a big debate in the draft community if the Jets are taking Arvell Reese or David Bailey, guys. Nobody really knows, and that's still happening today.
Those should be 2 and 3 in some order, I think.
Except if the Cardinals want Love, and that might be predicated on if they like Reese or Bailey.
If I'm the GM, doesn't work like this. The commissioner announces the pick. If Arizona picks Jeremiah Love at 3, the GM should just quit immediately.
Just walk out.
Listen, this was not my idea. It's not my call. I'm out. You guys figure it out from here.
I saw a mock that had Jeremiah Love going to the Giants at 5. I'm like, the Saquon thing, like what did it really help you? And then he's got what? Why would you do that? Yeah.
So how about back to receiver in this mock draft of yours? Again, you don't have Concepcion or one of the other considered top receiver prospects in the draft being available to the Bills. Where, if there is one, where is the line for you? So Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, very few mock drafts have any of those players, especially Tate, dropping into the back half of the first round. Is it Concepcion? Is there someone else where you would make that exception and pick the receiver because of who the player is?
Any one of those 9, I think I'd be fine with on the Bills at 26. Any one of those first 9 that I have going in the first round. Is it 9, right? I think it's totally 9. Let's go, or 6. I'm 6. I say 9. I'm sorry. 6. Any one of those 6 going in the first round, I'd be fine with the Bills.
And you think they might
feel
likewise?
Yep, I do. I wonder, the Jordan Tyson, you gotta feel good about him with his injuries. But if he's healthy and you feel that, he might be the most talented receiver in this draft.
Right.
All right, so he's probably going a lot earlier because someone's going to feel that. And they're going to do that, especially in a draft with less first-round talented players. The guy that's interesting to me is Denzel Boston. Because if the Bills walk away with Denzel Boston tonight, I just think that says a lot more about Keon Coleman than anything.
He's cooked.
Yeah, right?
I think if they pick a receiver at 26 of any body type,
probably right.
I think they're sending Coleman away for whatever they can get for him.
Probably right.
Probably
at
on
least
Saturday.
If it's Concepcion, you can make an argument. Well, look, they need a return man. They need a speed smaller guy.
Yeah.
That's not. I agree with you though. Any wide receiver crowds the room enough for me to push Keon Coleman out, right? But that guy in particular, Denzel Boston, because of his body, his play style. That's the guy that you say, we just kind of got the duplicate, but he's better, we think. So what's going to happen? Yeah, exactly. Right. Why you did it.
Is Coleman interesting enough to other teams for you? Like, if the Bills just wanted to be done, they could be done. But maybe they need somebody to show some legitimate interest in him.
Yeah, and I don't know if any team would, but there's 31 other NFL teams. I'd be stunned if another team didn't really like Keon Coleman coming out of the draft, at least for, maybe a second or third round pick, and go, oh, I can work with this kid. Like, I'll get him in the right environment. This can work here where I am. That's all it takes. We see that all the time in the league with all these leagues. So I doubt right now, like, there's some team itching to just go, oh my God, give me Keon Coleman. But once you get to a certain point, you might be able to work out a deal where a team's like, hey, we're comfortable bringing this kid in.
Somebody like Tennessee or one of these teams that's
real
so
quick,
far to
just
go.
to clarify, you said second or third round pick. You were talking about originally in the draft.
Originally.
Because you're not
yeah,
getting,
sorry, thank you.
Yeah, you're getting like
if
a
you
a
go
Saturday
back
pick,
to
probably.
2 years ago and the evaluations from other teams, I wouldn't doubt if other teams could have taken him in the second round, right? But after the Bills could have passed up on him.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, some team that's just down bad at receiver and the pressure's off. I mean, there's no reason not to just take him almost for free. Maybe they have extra picks, too. That's not that many teams, though.
I got to tell you, the one pick I regret on my mock a bit plays into this. And it's the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins taking Sonny Styles. Dolphins need everything. They need everything. And that's fine. Sonny Styles is a really good player. If he drops to 11, like, the Miami Dolphins got a really good player at 11. It's Sonny Styles, a linebacker. But now I go back to, even the head coach is like, I'm not worried about receiver. He's going to have guys to throw to. Like, they're taking receivers. So it could very well be in the first round. And then I think about, would the Bills and Dolphins revisit a trade talk this time the other way? Because it was Waddle last year, right?
Coleman, yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. Then I think about it like that, too.
New management.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming over.
I want to compliment you on the graphic, how pleasing your mock is to look at.
It's the PFF.
Okay.
Well, it is.
I like the little college logos are very good for me.
I don't do a lot of. I use the PFF draft simulator because I've used it in the past. It's familiar, right?
Yep.
And the way they do it, I'm like, this works for me. We also have a new website, like landing, like the way we use our website.
Yeah.
And when you put a picture like this in, it just looks a lot cleaner. And I was happy with it too. So thank you.
All right. Enjoy the night. Should be memorable.
You guys too, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, and Mike already said it, but aces of you to come by here.
Man, it's awesome. Really good spot. Everybody came over here to say hi. I love this.
Sal Capaccio, not on the Western Hotline. Brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
He is on camera, and mine froze like 15 minutes ago. We're having some fun with my camera today.
Did we see this picture?
It's not a bad. You could do a lot worse.
That's a statue. That's a famous statue right there. That's the thinker.
I mean, nothing like those unfortunate pauses.
Right.
Where you're, you just don't want to look like that too long.
Right.
But this, I guess I could do worse. Sabres and Bruins. Paul Hamilton joins from Boston for the pregame show coming up in a little bit less than 40 minutes. We're at Hamburg Tap Room today. McKinley and Southwestern, brought to you by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog back after the update here on WGR.
And draft day. We'll start with the Sabres as they are in Boston for Game 3 against the Bruins, and we do have some lineup updates. Lindy Ruff would not confirm this one, but based off the morning skate, all signs do point to Alex Lyon getting the start in net after Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got Game 1 and 2. Ruff, however, did give us an update on Josh Norris. He is not available tonight, and he is considered day-to-day. Noah Ostlund is going to be sliding into the lineup for Norris. And again, Sabres at the Bruins, Game 3, pregame, coming up in a half hour at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop, and both are going to be right here on WGR. There are 2 other games tonight as well. 7:30, Ottawa hosts Carolina. The Hurricanes do hold a 2-0 series lead there. And then at 10, Kings host Colorado. LA trails in that series 2-0. Then for the Bills, as mentioned, it is draft day, round 1 tonight in Pittsburgh. The Bills are slated at the moment to pick 26th overall. We will see if that does happen, and we'll have coverage throughout round 1. Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself are going to be over on News Radio 930 WBEN, with Game 3, of course, being right here on WGR. Our coverage will begin at 7, and the actual draft will begin with the Las Vegas Raiders on the clock at 8 p.m. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
We can prepare all you want, having gone through it myself, but it's a different job than any job that leads to that job. Yeah. And so Joe is a very talented coach. He's a very talented play caller. And listen, what I saw in Joe in the 4 seasons I think he was with us, he's going to do a good job. And I'm looking forward to watching him. And, I think he knows, and I hope he knows, that I'm always here if he needs anything.
Sean McDermott. So it was reported last week in The Athletic that he would be doing some media around the draft. I saw him with Rich Eisen.
Yep, I also saw him with Rappaport and somebody else. I don't remember.
Michael Rappaport? Was it John Hine? Who was he with?
I don't remember who it was. Maybe Pelissaro? I know, the two of them and McDermott, and there was a part of it right at the very beginning of the clip I saw that sort of fell flat. I don't remember. Like, Pelissaro tried to tee him up to be glib, and McDermott just didn't quite bite for it.
Well, it's a process.
They got through it, but it was sort of like,
it's a process.
Like, this didn't land. I don't think it's
Were you paying close enough attention to what he just said in there?
To what?
About Brady?
Yeah. Yeah,
did it sound like faint praise?
In fact, did
it sound a little forced?
Because he led with here's what I heard there, and I don't know if we had the entire clip. I think this is, I saw him with Rich Eisen too. I saw like a 6-minute clip of him with Rich Eisen, and I like Rich Eisen a lot. But I don't remember if it was with Pelissaro and Rappaport or with Eisen or something else. But he was asked about Brady, and the first thing he said was, now it's a different job now.
Yeah, we just heard that. Yeah.
And I felt like everything he said after that was trying to dig out of sounding skeptical. Because I think you could. I don't think it would. It's obviously true that it's a different job. But that the first thing he said was that I think he felt like, let me just make sure I don't come off like I have doubts about whether he can handle it, or like, it's not going to be so easy to fill my shoes, kid, or something like that, which, you could get that vibe if he was, skeptical about it.
I kind of did.
I think initially he was, and then I think your instincts are good.
Yeah.
Because I think he spent the clip we just heard, I think he spent the majority of it trying to back out of sounding skeptical.
Yeah.
And he was fairly skeptical,
honestly,
but I think that's how I took it.
I hope to have another experience with McDermott. Because if he does want to, he's going to be a coach again. But if he doesn't want to play around in the media, I'd love to know sort of how he thinks of it. Like what is different? Like, as the coach of the Bills, his instinct would have been to do just that. Like, maybe I said a little thing there, but hey, you guys, not really.
Yeah, right.
And in the media, if he's going to be good at it, which maybe he doesn't need to be good at it, I don't know. But if he's going to be good at it, that can't be his instinct. Like, he's got to say it. He's not going to be Rex Ryan,
right?
Where he's going to be a goofball and tell you, like, oh, he sucks. Like, he's not going to be that, which, I think is just as well.
Right.
But he would want to have a little bit more conviction in his criticism. But who needs my advice in this? He'll be fine. I don't know if he thinks. I'm not going to tell you who, but also there he said talented twice. He's very talented. There's somebody in my world that when he was asked about me, I was there to somebody in my life. I was introducing these two people, somebody in the media and then somebody in my family. And his, politely, his comment, he's very talented. And to me, it sounded like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, thank you. Your opinion on this is informed, and I appreciate that you think that. But it's not really like a top compliment, especially in such a benign kind of setting where you're talking to somebody's family. Is this making sense? Like it wouldn't be the first thing if you introduced me to somebody in your life that I have not met. That totally is not what I'm coming with.
No.
Bulldog is very talented. It almost sounds like we haven't met.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even really a good compliment.
Yeah.
It is. It's not an insult, but it's not really that nice. See, we have not left the world of parsing every word Sean McDermott says, even though he's not around
just
anymore.
Taking this car out for a ride. It's a nice day. Put the top down, and see how she runs. Let her eat. Yeah. I
spare me with talented. He's the offensive coordinator, your offensive coordinator for 4 years. Let's assume you thought that.
Yeah, right.
Now what?
Yeah.
Now tell me how you think this is going to go. And maybe he said, I don't know. Maybe he's a little bit jealous. Maybe he's a little bit not that confident that Brady will do well. Neither of us is that confident that he'll do that well. We don't have any evidence yet, but really, it's a little bit sus right now, Bulldog. You like that? Sus?
Yeah, sure. I
want to parse words? Sus.
I will accept that.
From me.
Oh, I remember what was awkward. Pelissaro, it was with them. It was Pelissaro and Ian Rappaport. And at one point, Pelissaro said, pretty early in the clip I saw, and again, it was 5 minutes maybe. So you got fired. Was there? You familiar with Anchorman? There's a moment there where he says something you can't say on TV, and he does, and he gets fired, and he sort of spirals. Was there any of that? And he ends up drinking warm milk in a phone booth, or whatever,
yes.
Right? All of a sudden, laying it out, and McDermott's just sort of sitting there, and they're dying for him to tell them that he sat around in his footy pajamas for a week, feeling sorry for himself, but he just didn't take it. He pivoted as quickly as he could, and barely was I'm not playing this game about Anchorman with you here. No, this is not happening. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. The NFL, the people watching, deciding if he's going to have a role on their TV shows at some point, might have liked to see him sort of, oh, God, where's the buzzer? Because that's how those shows are.
Well, he left pretty fast. He left Buffalo pretty fast, so I don't know if he sat around. It's not really his style, is it, you think, McDermott?
I like a lot of what he is saying here, and he made some of the same points on both appearances that I saw last night after I got home, talking about, of course, he's reaching out to people within sports, but also, people in business, different industries, just trying to keep, evolving and improving, which I admire about him more than anything else that he accomplished with the Bills, is that he was honest the whole time about sort of striving to get better at this. I think most coaches sort of only play one note, and it's what's the team like, and And then McDermott sort of let you in a little bit more than the average Bills coach about what he's trying to get done here.
That's interesting.
It's not. Of course, the winning is what you're trying to get done here, but the way you go about it and his process. I don't know. I learned to really appreciate how he goes about his business, I guess.
Sorry.
Okay.
I admire that in people. The people who just cannot stop striving. I just can't relate to it. I admire it. I respect it. If I lived with it, I'd be like, can you just take a break?
Right.
And they'll never take a break.
Right.
I mean, those people are just like completely obsessed with the quest and whatever else it could be called. And
yep.
I admire that in people. There are times when I wish I were like that. I'm not at all like that. And I'm more the other side, which is like, no, I'm good. I don't need to meet with the CEO of
Boeing,
Adidas,
whatever.
I'm all right. I'm good.
Yeah.
Good for him. Whatever you want.
I wish I was more. I wish I was more like that in one respect. I will tell you, like golf. I have a tee time Sunday, and I've loved golf the last 5 years. I have never loved golf more than I love golf the last 5 years. I have practiced like one time all winter. And I don't know what the hell happened, but now, like Sunday morning, like tomorrow, Saturday, like I gotta go. I should go hit some balls. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, or I'm just gonna set myself up to be frustrated all morning, or for weeks at a time until I go put some time in. But I can't believe it's this nice out, and I wish I had a little drive there. I will tell you.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Don't.
Okay. Just go.
I want to know what happens.
Just go play Sunday.
I had a year. This is my dad who made this point to me once. I had a year where I didn't play at all. I did that. I mean, I was playing in 2000. I posted 90 rounds.
Yeah.
Like I had a year where I just blew off the off season, and I remember talking to him once. I'm like, oh, I did well. And he's like, well, did you watch golf on TV? I'm like, of course, you know me. He's like, well, I think that's probably good. Seeing it. Mm-hmm. He thought his logic. Well, he's not a instructor, but he thought like there was benefit in watching it. Usually when you're watching golf on TV, those guys are pretty good.
Usually.
And so I don't know. I'm here to. I would like to find out.
You want me to go
if you
try?
suffer?
Go like practice free.
No, yeah.
Right.
If
Mostly.
you
I mean,
suffer,
I've gone and hit balls at a simulator, but that's even playing. That's not practicing. Like that is,
right.
You're playing around a golf, basically. And I've only done that a couple times. I haven't done anything.
The chipping drives me crazy on those.
Right.
It's too much.
Yeah.
We're at Hamburg Tap Room, McKinley and Southwestern. Sabres and Bruins tonight. We'll get back to it. Pregame at 6. Our appearance here is brought to you by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Keep it tasty this playoff season. May it last. Really excited to have the playoffs back. Ugh. Come on.
Yeah, let's not make this our last appearance out on a game day.
At least another week out of this, if we can.
Right.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Paul Hamilton at 6. This is WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet when everyday life gets you down.